We, of course, are going to talk about Donald Trump's speech last night before Congress. Longest speech, I think, ever. Similar speech. It was not technically a State of the Union speech, but it was similar to that. And I got to tell you, the man was at the top of his game. It was funny. It was substantive. It was entertaining. It was thorough. He seemed confident. He seemed happy. He seemed like he was having fun. And the poor Democrats have no idea how to respond to this man. What are you going to do? Are you going to oppose cutting waste, fraud, corruption, and abuse from the federal government? Are you going to oppose sealing the border? Are you going to oppose measures to make us energy independent because energy is a component in the price of virtually everything? Are you going to oppose banning biological men from competing against women? Are you going to oppose an executive order defining males as having two sexes, having humans rather having two sexes, male and female? Are you going to oppose school choice, empowering parents to determine what school to send their children to? Are you going to oppose an attempt to bring an end to the Russia-Ukraine war, which is now entering its fourth year, hundreds of thousands of lives lost on both sides, hundreds of billions of dollars spent? Are you going to oppose trying to get some sort of resolution about Gaza? The president has suggested relocating Palestinians living in Gaza. And now all of a sudden the Arab states are getting together having a meeting to determine what to do, because they don't want to forcibly relocate Palestinians. They don't want them in their countries. On the other hand, Donald Trump has put pressure on them to do something. You countries in the Middle East are wealthy. You have a great deal of influence. What is your game plan? Simply allowing the Palestinians to commit terror against Israel and do nothing while Donald Trump is calling you out? This has been an extraordinary first month. I've never seen the like of it. Now, presidents, Republicans, and Democrats, ever since I've been watching politics, have talked about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from government, and virtually nothing ever happens. Firing people wholesale the way Trump has done or tried to do, shutting down complete agencies like USAID as Trump has done or is trying to do, demanding that federal employees write down 5 things they did last week or else to get fired, demanding that federal workers go into work. Who does that? Who has done that? Renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America? Opening up drilling? Trying to restart the Keystone Pipeline? Trying to open up drilling in Anwar? Putting pressure to get the Panamanians to disconnect themselves from China operating the ports on either side. And now it appears that there's a deal. An investment company called BlackRock appears to be on the brink of purchasing the ports on either side of the Panama Canal, pressuring Mexico to put their military on the border. The cartels are now scared. Cartels are admitting now that they feel pressured. Mexico's now turned over cartel members to us that we've been after for years. Canada doing more to secure their northern border. Who does this? This is absolutely extraordinary. Getting a whole bunch of companies like Apple and others, Taiwanese companies, to promise to invest hundreds of billions of dollars in America? This is in 1 month? Are you kidding me? Absolutely extraordinary. And so what do Democrats do? Trot out the same old line that the tax cuts that Donald Trump wants to extend, and everybody who pays taxes got a break, everybody did, are just for the rich. Same old sorry lie. And of course, referring to Donald Trump as a dictator. If he's a dictator, why is it that you go to court, sometimes you get an injunction to stop what Donald Trump was trying to do, and then he has to appeal it? Recently, Donald Trump tried to stop $2 billion of USAID going out the door. Injunction was filed. He filed what's called an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court so that it won't have to work its way all the way up to the various courts to get to the Supreme Court. He wanted a ruling right away. And the Supreme Court has ruled 5-4 they're not going to grant the emergency appeal. If he's a dictator, doesn't he just not send out the money at all? Because after all, he's a dictator. Dictators don't give a damn what courts say, right? Has he defied a court order the way, Joe Biden did when he did student debt forgiveness? A lot of AGs sued. It went up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court ruled that Biden did not have the authority to do it. What did Biden do? He did it again. Changed the wording a little bit to argue it wasn't the same thing. And now that one is working its way up to court. So he was told by the Supreme Court, you cannot do this, and then did it again and bragged about it. Doesn't that sound dictatorish to you? We're going to go over the reaction to the speech. CBS News did a poll following the speech and asked speechwriters what they thought and what percentage of the people who were watching it were Democrats, Independents, Republicans. We'll talk about that in a minute. Whether or not Donald Trump talked about the issues they care about. What percentage of them thought the speech was entertaining. I don't see any Republican that I've seen this morning looking at the news that thought it was too long. I didn't think it was too long. I didn't realize it was as long as it was until people said it was an hour and 40 minutes. That's how entertaining it was. I'm interested in getting your thoughts. 888-971-SAGE, 888-971-7243, particularly those of you who are independents and Democrats who watch the speech. Most people, not too surprisingly, who watch the speech were Republicans. Typically, that's the way it goes. But of those of you who do not like Donald Trump, did you watch it? And if you did it change anything at all? Were you impressed by anything he said? Al Green, a Democrat from Texas, stood up, yelled at Trump in an outburst the likes of which I have never, ever seen. And he was escorted out by security. And then he talked about why he did it and said that people in his district are concerned about being cut off from Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. Never mind that Trump over and over and over again has said those who are receiving Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid will not be touched. It doesn't matter because that's all they've got. They've got to tell people that Donald Trump is going to take away your Social Security, take away your Medicare, take away your Medicaid. Oh, and by the way, Donald Trump's a Hitler, and he's a Nazi, and he's a dictator. That's all they've got because Donald Trump's agenda is broadly popular. Closing the borders, popular. Doge, popular. Getting rid of waste and fraud, popular. Banning biological men from competing against women, popular. Two sexes, popular. So what do they have? And Donald Trump right now has never been more popular. So what did you think? Thanks for watching these clips from The Larry Elder Show. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment. More thought-provoking discussions are just a click away, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.